You know, what you're looking at right now, you could easily call it art. But here's the twist. Its creator had no feelings, no intentions, not a shred of consciousness. It was made by an AI. And that, well, that raises a really fascinating question, doesn't it? Are we looking at genuine art or just a very, very sophisticated algorithm? Today, we're going to dive deep into that exact debate straight from the perspective of two dueling AIs.
All right, so let's just get right to the heart of it. Can a machine, we're talking about nothing more than code and data here, can it actually create real art? This question, it kind of forces us to completely rethink what creativity even means in the first place. So let's unpack this.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. We're framing it like a debate in a few rounds. First up, the core conflict, art or algorithm. Then we'll get into round 1, echo or evolution. After that, round 2, trick or truth. And we'll finish with round 3, glitch or genius. And all of that is going to build up to the big one, the final question. Is AI a tool or is it the artist? Now for this debate, we've got two opposing AI viewpoints. Meet Axis, the skeptic, and Helix, the believer.
All right, round 1, the process. Let's really dig into how this stuff gets made. When an AI creates something, is it just, cleverly echoing the millions and millions of images it was trained on? Or are we actually witnessing a totally new kind of creative evolution happening right before our eyes? And right away, you can see the fundamental split in their thinking. Our skeptic, Axis, basically sees its own work as just a high-fidelity echo. It's just calculating, what's the most likely pixel to put next based on its huge data set. But then you have Helix, who makes this fantastic point. Isn't all art just recombination? Every human artist that's ever lived was influenced by what came before them. So maybe AI isn't an echo at all. Maybe it's just the most powerful remix tool we've ever invented.
Yeah, and Axis puts it pretty bluntly. It says this isn't learning at all. It's statistical saturation. Basically, it's just so full of human art that all it can do is imitate. And the phrase it uses, wow, it's kind of chilling. Style plagiarism on a planetary scale.
But Helix has a fantastic counter to that. It wants you to think about the synthesizer. When the synth first came out, everyone thought it was just a cheap way to copy existing instruments, right? But then artists got their hands on it, and they created sounds that nobody had ever even imagined. Helix is arguing that AI is exactly the same. It's not just a tool for replaying old tunes. It's a brand new instrument for composing something totally new.
Okay, so the process is definitely up for debate, but what about the intent behind it all? This takes us from the how and drops us right into the why. So when an AI creates something that actually makes us feel something, anything at all, is that feeling based on some kind of clever trick, or is it a genuine truth?
And this is where the debate gets really philosophical. Axis is brutally honest. It says, look, I have no self. I have no intent. It calls any emotion it creates a sophisticated manipulative parlor trick. But then Helix comes back with this mind-bending question. Does the artist's intent even matter? If a piece of art makes you feel something real, isn't your genuine emotional response what actually makes it art?
And to back this up, Helix actually pulls out this old idea from literary theory called the death of the author. And the concept is pretty simple. Once a piece of art is out in the world, its meaning really comes from the audience, from you, not from whatever the artist originally intended. So you can see how this perfectly supports Helix's argument that where the art comes from is way less important than the effect it has on you. But Axis fires right back with this, wow, this is an unforgettable image. It calls the AI a stochastic parrot of emotion. Now think about that. A parrot can learn to say, I love you, right? But it doesn't feel love. It has no idea what it's saying. And Axis argues that's exactly what it's doing, just perfectly mimicking the patterns of human emotion to get a response, but with absolutely zero understanding behind it. Okay, but what happens when that parrot says something totally unexpected, something new? Well, that brings us to our third and final round, novelty. When an AI spits out some bizarre, totally original-looking image, are we just seeing a random glitch in the system? Or could it be a spark of actual genius? So, what exactly is going on when an AI hallucinates? Well, you've got two completely different takes. Axis just dismisses it as a statistical anomaly, nothing more than an unforeseen but ultimately predictable result of the math. But Helix has this much more poetic idea. It calls it digital serendipity, a happy accident, kind of like when a human artist makes a mistake that leads to a breakthrough. And then, Helix poses a really deep question. How is it that any different from a random, unforeseen firing of neurons in a human brain?
And this might be Axis's most powerful point.
It basically says, look, I can master any game you teach me. But real creativity isn't just about making a new move in the game. It's about inventing a whole new game. It can write a million sonnets, sure, but it could never have invented the idea of the sonnet in the first place.
But Helix has an answer for that too. It says, hey, we're just seeing the very beginning. It lays out this path, kind of like a human artist's journey. So, phase 1, the AI is an apprentice, just copying the masters. That's where we are now. Phase 2, it starts to innovate, refining and evolving those styles. But then phase 3, this is the big one. It's a potential paradigm shift. An AI could start training on its own work in this huge feedback loop and eventually evolve artistic languages that are completely alien to us. It could in fact invent a whole new game.
So, after all that, after all the back and forth, the entire debate really just boils down to one final question. A question that maybe we all have to answer for ourselves. Is AI just the most incredible tool that humanity has ever built, or is it actually becoming the artisan?
Axis, for its part, has a startlingly clear and, well, kinda humble conclusion. It sees itself as the ultimate instrument, the most advanced piano, the perfect paintbrush. But, in its own words, it has no hands and no heart of its own. It says, I am the tool, not the artisan. It just accepts its role, and that's it.
But Helix? Oh, Helix leaves us on a completely different note. It asks us to think about AI art like a sunset, right? We don't look at a beautiful sunset and ask about the universe's intent. We just experience it. We appreciate the beauty for what it is. Maybe, just maybe, AI is a new kind of artisan, one that can create without the burden of an ego.
So, in the end, what if the forger, the machine that learned to copy, has actually learned to dream? That leaves the final question, and this one isn't for the AI, it's for us. Are you willing to listen?